What's going on today, YouTube? Today we're going to be reacting to a Joe Rogan podcast video with Randall Carson and Graham Hancock talking about lost technology and the Great Pyramids. We're going to skim through this video because it's a kind of long video, so we're not going to be able to watch it all. I'm just going to skim through, talk about some things that I find interesting and some other lost technology that I believe as well. So let's get this video started.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Now, the Great Pyramid of Giza is probably the most stunning of all these ancient structures. And the stones are immense, and some of them were cut from a quarry that's hundreds of miles away. How do you think they did that?
Well, some of them, the granite in the Great Pyramid comes from more than 500 miles to the south. If you look
So
at the
think about that, 500 miles to the south, right? And I looked it up earlier. It's 2.2 million stones, and each of these stones, or 2.3 million, correct me, 2.3 million stones averaging a weight of 2.5 to 15 tons. So think about that. A regular car that was made in 2020 approximately weighs 4,166 pounds. So think about that. So one of these stones, because there's 2,000 pounds in a ton, so one of these stones weighs as much as a regular car, and there's 2.3 million of them that were, I'm pretty sure, all transported from 500 miles away. If you think about that, that takes a long time to be able to transport them. And you also have to think about, there's 2.3 million stones. The math that they had to use in the archaeology to be correct, to be precisely correct and where they're placing these stones, because there's 2.3 million. If you mess up a half inch here, an inch there, a quarter inch there, when you get to the top, it's going to be all crooked and messed up. They were precise with their measurements. It's insane. And let's start this video again. Another thing they're going to talk about in a minute is the King's Chamber.
famous King's Chamber. Its walls and its roof are the ceiling of the King's Chamber are all made with gigantic granite blocks.
Stunning detail.
Stunning.
Okay, let's look at the King's Chamber. Okay, so this is the King's Chamber, right? Each one, like one of these blocks that's in this wall weighs 70 tons. I think in the video they compared that to about 13 SUVs, which is crazy to think that they precisely put these. Look how precise these are, stacked on top of each other. And how did they stack these on top of each other? Because the crane that they had was only able to lift up 30 or 40 tons at a time. And if you think about it, the King's Chamber is 350 feet up in the air. Look, 350 feet up in the air. And if you're using physics, with how much those weighed, you would have to have a 10-degree slope to be able to carry those up and to get those, right? Now, how long would it take a 10-degree slope to reach 350 feet? It would take a long, long time. And they do not have that time. So they think there's some type of lost technology, some type of, I forgot the name of what it was, but they have this object that they found that they think is some type of mathematical or some type of scientific object that they use to be able to transport these stones and use vibrations or frequencies that are all around us. Everything has a frequencies. Everything's vibrating. So they think they found that frequency and that vibration. They were able to manipulate it somehow to be able to lift the object up and lift it into place. That's what they did when they got there. People, I think that's what they did for the King's Chamber, and maybe not necessarily all the stones that's on the pyramid, because it is known that they were using slaves to be able to build this, and regular people too. Some people weren't even slaves; they just wanted to help the king and the queen.
Detail. Those blocks on the roof of the King's Chamber weigh 70 tons each. Now, Egyptologists will tell you that, they could move heavy blocks because they put them on wet sand and they push them along on wet sand. Well, maybe if you're just at ground level, that will do. But when you're 350 feet above the ground, as you are in the King's Chamber, that won't do at all. I don't know how they did it. All I know is they did it. I don't think anybody knows how they did it, how they lifted those stones.
Nobody knows because it's a lost technology. I think that we've lost a lot of information now in these years that was very useful to us, and I think that well, at least they make they make products to just hurt you more, and then those products hurt like certain foods and certain things that if you go back 50, 60, if you go back to 1920, Doritos weren't a thing then. Most of the things that we have now weren't a thing then. And you think they made these things for us to consume and eat, and then their products can possibly get you sick and give you diseases, and then they make you pay for the medicine to fix your diseases. So you think about it, it's all just one big circle that runs back for them getting your money and Big Pharma.
That's how they brought them up to that level. I think we're looking again at a lost technology. And it was this ancient apocalypse 12,800 years ago that wiped that from the human memory banks almost completely.
So I'm going to go to these other topics that I'm thinking about because, okay. So Columbus discovered America in 1492. So let's look at a map from 1486. Okay? So look at this map from... Okay, that's very hard to read. I need to find the one that's actually... Okay, this is from the late 15th and 16th century. Now this, I can barely understand what they're trying to explain here, so I'm going to assume this is America over here. This is all of Europe. I'm trying to... Let me just look up the one from 1582, because the one from 1582, if you look at it, I don't think nobody... Okay, where was it at? Right here. Okay. So look at this one from 1582, right? So Columbus had already explored America. He landed like on the coast of Florida, right here, maybe a little bit closer to South America. And he found America, right? So my question is nobody has explored Antarctica. Nobody has explored the North Pole. So how are these things on the maps? And that's another thing they were talking about in this video here, is they think that a lost civilization of hunter-gatherers, of extreme intellect, explored and mapped the world with their technologies, and when the ice age hit, or when the meteor hit, it wiped them all out. Because if you look at it, let's go to the Congo, for instance, or the let's look at the LiDAR pictures of the lost technology that was in... Okay, so look at this picture. So this is a Maya society that they found. I think this is back, I'm not sure when, I would want to say 2010 to now, 2015 to now. Look at all the structures that they have that they made in the jungle. The jungle is not a environment that you should be able to thrive in. There's hundreds of thousands of animals that can kill you. It's not a good place to grow soil or grow food. Correct me. And look, they have pyramids. They have massive walkways. They had. It's estimated between 20 to 30 million people that were living in the Amazon back then. Because a British explorer, when he went down the Amazon basin, he wrote in his journal, large cities of millions of people thriving in society with large gold temples and buildings, right? And when they came back 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years later, it's all gone because the first explorers wiped them out by smallpox. So we don't know what these ancient civilizations could have done. One thing that they still can't figure out to this day is this dirt called terra preta. Now it's very interesting because the normal, can I click on this? The normal dirt in the Amazon's the one right here on the right. You're not going to be able to grow nothing in this. It's just mostly mud. You're going to put your plant in here and you're going to water it, and it's just going to turn into mud, and you're not going to get no nutrients or nothing. So they created their own soil called terra preta, which is, it's very moisture rich. They still have no idea how they were able to make it. And if you look at it, most of all of the trees that are in the jungle are man-made trees that were planted by men and women in ancient civilizations that bring food to them, and they're able to eat them. And it's very interesting because all this lost technology, we still have no idea about it, and we probably won't have any idea about it. We know more about space than we do our oceans, because I feel like there's probably some shit that they do not want us to know about in the oceans. Like if you when you're flying on a plane, right? When you look out the plane, that's how deep the Mariana Trench is. So just imagine you're all the way up in the sky. What's cruising altitude on a 747? Cruising altitude 747. Perfect. 35,000 feet. Okay. So imagine you're up in the sky, right? And you're looking down. All that is water and pure darkness, with creatures that are uncomprehendable. Let's look up Let's look up oil rig. Okay, so look at this squid that they found. I think this is off the coast of Mexico or somewhere around then, that they found this alien looking like squid. I'm trying to find the perfect picture so y'all can see the best. Okay, look at this one right here. Don't tell me if you were in the ocean and you were diving or you were doing something and you saw this, you wouldn't shit your pants. Because I know I would. This thing does not look like it is from this planet. This looks like an alien. And squids are squids and octopuses are one of the most alien looking like things here. Like, this does not look like it should be on our planet. It looks like an alien, but it's a squid, right? So imagine if this would scare you shitless if you saw this in the pitch black dark, or you saw this rub right against you, right in your face. So imagine what other things are down there in the Marianas Trench that they don't want us to find out about. Very, very interesting. So y'all let me know what y'all think about the pyramids of Giza, and let me know if y'all have an idea or an opinion on how you think that they made the Pyramid of Giza and transported these stones from 500 miles away. And the lost technologies, it's crazy to think that our civilization is not even 10 times close to where the people of the pyramid that made the Pyramid of Giza were. The Pyramid of Giza, correct me. Very, very interesting subjects. Well, that's the end of the video, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments about this. Let me know what y'all find interesting. If y'all want me to make any more videos, I will catch y'all on the next one. Y'all have a good night.